Hello, my name is Brant Hunt, and my channel simply is Discerning What is True. Today is the 15th day of February 2026. I'm going to be reading from Kabbalah and Exodus um, today and deal with the chapter called Organization and Direction, which is found in Exodus 35. So let's get into the particular chapter here. Revelation always precedes tradition. It cannot be the other way around. Out of revelation comes the oral line, which then becomes, change something real quick, the written and ritual tradition. In this way, the transmission of the teaching follows the doctrine of the four worlds in its descent from divine will through spiritual knowledge and psychological form into physical manifestation. Thus it was when Moses began to transmit the instructions concerning the tabernacle, which were already in existence in the upper world. Let me ask something here, something we need to think about. So most people are looking at what we call the physical tabernacle, but in reality, you are the temple. Okay, you are the temple of God. You just don't know it. Most people have been brainwashed these days for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. Well, especially since the church has started, especially the Catholic Church, but along with the Protestants have done the same thing. You see, there's trillions of what I would call denominations, but none of them lead to truth. None of them lead to truth at all. Well, they're all in the fear, though. You're a wicked sinner. But yet, hey, wait a minute. Didn't God create you? So something's wrong here, isn't it? Think about that. In the beginning of Exodus chapter 35, Moses calls all the community together and addresses them. This can be seen in the individual as the self, bringing the psyche and body into consciousness so as to consider the aim of making the tabernacle. Moses began by stating the strict rules of exercise, rules of the exercise, and how it must follow the laws of creation with its periodical rest, recreation, and reflection. Then, softly, he indicates that whosoever wished with a willing heart could make some contribution, both in labor and material. This meant that not only was the middle pillar of consciousness involved, but the right pillar of energy and the left pillar of matter. In this way, the lightning flash of the crown zigzagged down from the will through the intellect and emotion into the kingdom of the body as it stood in the world of action and elements. Grace, mercy, and justice were to be its earth. The materials have already been described in detail, but the way the whole layout of what is needed is repeated indicates a, quote, ordering in a lower world as the design specification begins to come into manifestation. The people, having been given the physical requirements for building the tabernacle, then went back to their camps, collected what materials they had, and gave them as a free will offering. This was absolutely vital. Otherwise, the work would have no significance to them or the tabernacle. Indeed, any effort carried out under coercion, be it by external pressure on the ego, internal pride of the self, under the threat of fear or a fascination of love, is invalid. So it has to be truly free will. The moment free will goes, the work ceases to be worship and becomes labor, then routine drudgery. Under these conditions, nothing is given, but only taken. The next step, the text says that every man and woman brought a personal argument. These individual sacrifices represent the contribution of the body. The psyche gives its gifts when the men and women offer their special skills, the former practicing the masculine arts, the latter being the feminine. In this way, the talents performed a ritual of making, forming, and creating sacred objects as materials were hammered, woven, cut, sewn, joined, and linked into the various components of the tabernacle, its furniture, and the priestly garments. Here is an analog of a labor of love that goes on for many years in Kabbalism, as he works at the tabernacle of himself to create, form, and make a holy place within his psyche and body for the soul, spirit, and divinity to reside. The chiefs of the tribes gave their precious stones for the ephod and breastplate. They also contributed the perfumes and oil for the lamp. This tells us how the animal part of the people or individual gave up treasures that had been accumulated in life. These might be seen in the princely talents such as the ability to organize, the gift to inspire confidence, or the possession of great determination. At this point, Moses announced to the Israelites that Bezalel had been especially chosen to implement the work. That's B-E-Z-E, sorry, start over. Bezalel. Chosen to implement the work, because he who was in the shadow of God was filled with the spirit of Elohim. Quote, in wisdom and in his understanding and knowledge, end quote. Bezalel would coordinate, as the Hebrew text puts it, kol, K-O-L, ish, via ish, end quote. Every man and woman, end quote. Ashla, Nede, Nimra, Otam, end quote. Another quote, whose hearts make them willing, end quote. Here are the pillars at work in harmony. The master craftsman Bezalel and his assistants then began to supervise the construction of the tabernacle, instructions by divine inspiration. The way design was to be executed according to tradition. Bezalel knew the form of the design in greater detail than Moses. This was because he received his inspiration at the lower levels of existence, where the laws are more complex and therefore more detailed in their manifestation. That is, the working out of the heavenly scheme at ground level paid more attention to particulars, because in the lowest world, the point of manifestation operates through a specific time and place. The initiative but practical view of Bezalel from below is symbolicized by a legendary conversation with Moses, who asked him in what order he should build the tabernacle. Unlike the divine plan that began with the ark, Bezalel proposed to build the tabernacle first, that is, from the outer and lower levels in towards the center and highest. Here is an individual working from his exterior consciousness into his interior, from the particular to the general. This is the way of man as against the divine. So that's the end of the particular chapter today. Very short chapter today, I should say. So we'll try to see if we can do the next chapter a little bit. This is the end of this particular chapter again, the book is called Kabbalah and Exodus. The chapter is simply called Organization and Direction in Exodus 35. Thank you.